Hello and welcome back to the All New Nerds live on Wednesday, September 21st, which you know what that means. It's Andor
What does it mean?
Day, baby. It's Andor Day. We got a whole ass Star Wars movie today, 3 episodes.
It's true.
Like 95 minutes
that's
of
something
content,
that's something we can
on-screen
say
content.
now.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's out. We saw
out.
it.
It's here.
And we're here to talk about it. So it's me, it's Levi, it's Gibbs, it's Johnny, but also, as you may have
But more.
you could told on the thumbnail, a couple of special guests. First off, longtime friend of the channel, fellow reactor, absolute grind master, getting this stuff out. It is Mike Jedi Jive.
Let's go.
Still,
guys.
After all these years, still in the Millennium Falcon, he's still there, still sitting in a seat that doesn't exist.
That's right.
Grindmaster, I'll take it.
The
Grindmaster. It's true though. It's true. Hey, doing better than.
It's for the YouTubes, man.
It's for the tubes.
That's right. For the
Chad,
tubes.
all my homies hate Tim. That's what I'm talking about.
Dude,
Chad.
that's so true. Oh my god.
Thank you. Cashing in. And another friend of the channel too. We don't have just Mike. We have another friend. Now this guy, he's the master of pain, both his own and others.
Right. Okay.
I
don't know if I like that intro.
He's a long time friend of the channel. Who some would say without him, this channel wouldn't exist. It's Corey Van Dyke from the Convor call, and I don't know. I think Master of Pain is accurate.
Have you ever been called that before, Corey?
No, this is the first time, but I
think it's
call
accurate
that going forward because it's so accurate.
Thank you, Batman. I mean, you inflict pain both on yourself. It's mostly yourself, actually.
Yeah, it seems that way.
How's the concussion doing? How's the concussion doing today?
You know, it's I'm still rattled and
Still rattled.
All
right,
it's fine. I actually hit my head again.
Oh my god!
A couple days ago, but I didn't get another concussion.
This is the concussion live stream.
This is why I said Master of Pain.
Honestly, if we went on long enough, there's a chance I probably would get another one. So it's
right.
Stop talking about
On
Andor.
camera. That's right. But we have more people on the way.
They're on the way.
Coming shortly. So don't you stay tuned for that.
Yeah,
But
don't you worry.
again, like we said, first 3 episodes of Andor, they're here.
Out in
They're
the
dropped.
wild.
I do want to throw it to Corey first because I've been meaning to ask him about this. And you went to the Andor premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that? And yeah.
Yeah. So Steele and I went to the
Obi-Wan
LA.
Kenobi stars. Obi-Wan Kenobi stars.
Stars of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The premiere. I've never been to like a red carpet premiere aside from the Kenobi one that we did for Celebration. So this was more different, obviously, because it's I don't know, LA.
What is the place where they do red carpets? I know it's downtown Hollywood.
El Capitan Theater.
El Capitan.
That's yeah.
Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah. If you've ever been to LA, you know it sucks. So but
okay.
You know, it was a small little theater. It was cool. You know, there's probably like maybe 200 people there, 300 people. And yeah, they showed the first 3 episodes, which was interesting because, you know, this show definitely looks like it could be a movie. I mean, the production quality is insane on it. So
That's true.
It looked really good in the theater. And I will say, Steele clapped when no one else did at one moment, and it was very funny. And it's
just Steele?
Guys. He just
Tim.
That was a right. Just Steele. Shout out to him. We have incoming transmission.
An incoming transmission from another unknown source. They're
It's
calling
Jamie.
themselves the Holonet Marauders. Oh my god, Jamie.
Alex, do you want me to sing the entire intro? I can. No, I'm kidding. Hello, guys.
Jam the Jedi. Jamie joining us.
Welcome to the show.
Hopefully
Hello,
one
guys.
of a few Marauders who will join us today.
This is
Yes.
a textbook. AJ is busy. We didn't tell Matt, but I was free. So hello.
There you go.
There
There
we
you
go.
go. There you go.
Hello there. But sorry, Corey. So you're saying Steele
He clapped.
Clapped, yeah.
Tim's dead.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience because Diego Luna was there. He introduced the whole cast was there, but him and Tony Gilroy introduced the 3 episodes, and it definitely felt super fast when watching it in the theater. And I guess it's like an hour and a half probably combined. But it was interesting hearing everyone's initial impression because this was right off the heels of Obi-Wan, and everyone has their opinions on that. So I heard a lot of chatter afterwards, people comparing it to like Obi-Wan and Boba Fett, and it's yeah, I mean, my first impressions of it after getting out of the theater was, yeah, this is different. Like this is
dark and gritty, perhaps.
Very
perhaps.
I've heard those words thrown around lately.
I refuse to use the word slow burn because everyone's saying it.
Yeah.
No, I don't even agree with that.
Yeah, I would say it's just
I don't.
it was different. The production quality was different. The writing
That's
was
for sure.
phenomenal. The acting
Different.
was phenomenal. It was different. It was all different.
It's all different.
Clearly, a lot of work was put into it.
Yeah.
Which actually got me like even more nervous about other projects because I was just thinking back to Boba and Obi-Wan and thinking like, wow, the production quality is night and day. I mean, it's like you've got
unfortunate to say, but it's true.
Yeah, like Boba Fett looks. I hate to say, I know I was involved in it, and I love the show dearly. But you could have put that on a YouTube original Red series, and it could have been fun. You know?
Okay.
Like,
I don't know if I'd go that far.
I wouldn't go that far, but I get what you're saying. I get the point. I still love Kenobi. It's my favorite, live action Star Wars show so far. A little biased, but that's okay.
Cobra Kai started on YouTube Red.
That's what I was gonna say.
True.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But we'll throw it to Mike. Your thoughts on thoughts on Andor a little bit.
I second Corey with the production value, and I was if you see our reaction, Jenny and I noticed the ambiance, the sound design in particular. Like there was a couple places where the Foley in particular like stuck out to me, which isn't like normal for me to like really be noticing the Foley like that. And I was like, wow, somebody really did like a polish pass on this that made the sound like I was listening to it in my stereo headphones, so I was really getting it. So I don't know how it was in the theater in terms of the sound for you, Corey, because the theater is probably, a whole nother experience. But I was really like the sound design. I'm like, well, Star Wars has always had that, sound design in general has always been one of the best parts of Star Wars. Like the sound is like another character in the story. So the ambience, whatever you want to call it, I was feeling it. Even though, slow burn, whatever you want to call it, I felt like immersed in an atmosphere that had like a very. It felt dense. It felt like I was in it, and I enjoyed that aspect of it the most. That really stuck out to me.
Absolutely.
Dense in the best possible way. That's a good way to put it.
That's a good way to put it. Couldn't have said it better. Jamie, thoughts on the
immediate thoughts?
Yeah. So going into Andor, I have had zero expectations for this. Like Cassian's my favorite Rogue One character, but I have had zero expectations for the show because. Yeah.
Fair.
But honestly, like this has blown me out of the water. Like that's like why I wanted to like jump on the stream with you guys tonight as well, because like you guys are great, but I'm also just you can talk about it without me.
You guys well, Andor came out, so.
But like it blew me out of the water, and it is something I was not expecting to love as much as I have so far. Just watching like the 3 episodes, I took my time this morning. I took the morning off of work, and I just chilled like the entire morning and like spaced out each episode and gave myself time to think about it. But like it was just a really good experience overall. And like I agree also about like the whole like sound thing. I was fully like immersed like within like this show immediately. And like I think that's something also that really stuck out to me was it feels Star Wars. A lot of people are out there are saying it doesn't feel Star Wars, and I'm like, this is exactly Star Wars. Like it is the world. We have so many unique worlds within the world. And I love that about it because it feels Star Wars. So I don't know where this idea is that it doesn't feel it, because it does. It really does.
Yeah.
It's like if you took like the transitional scenes in the special edition of New Hope where you're just seeing Mos Eisley and like made that into like a show. Like the way you just follow.
Well, Disney Plus has that like Star Wars through sound or whatever it is. What are those episodes they have? Yeah. It was almost like they took those and like put them in the background. So there was a lot of like subtle, not just like your stereotypical like gong in the background, but like, just those things that we've grown to like, we know them now, and it just feels real, like you're there in the galaxy.
There was literally a moment
subtle
in which
sounds.
like a creature like walked by full frame in front of the
I know.
shot, like as Cassian's just walking around, and it was like
and it was a
Lugabeast
Lugabeast too. I loved seeing like the Force Awakens aliens.
It looked expensive too. Like I was like, that looked expensive. Like they put money into it.
That's
sure. A few, but it's good.
You can totally tell like which where they filmed each show, because with like the Mandalorian and Obi-Wan and Book of Boba, they reuse the same aliens from each show. But then now, like watching Andor, because it's shot.
That's what I've been saying. This is the Neil Scanlon squad. This is
exactly.
I know. Now Scanlon finished the sequels and has been working on this.
Well, straight into this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can tell that the show has been like, it is probably, well, I don't want to say the most, well, yeah, I'll say it, probably the most work into a recent Star Wars project that we've seen.
For sure.
Is the show. I mean, like, it's second to none, honestly.
It took 3 years to make, so it's...
Yeah.
Well, 4 years ago it was announced.
Incredible.
4 years
That's right.
ago.
4 years ago it was announced. Jeez.
Yeah.
I
thought it was going to get canned, honestly. For the
I know,
longest
yeah.
time.
For a while, we didn't hear anything.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
The biggest plot twist to me was that waiting 4 years for this show was actually be worth it. Blows me away.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree.
I want to build off something that Jamie said and what everyone has been touching on, because I'm sure we all read the same early social media reactions from that like over the weekend. It was all the same, like, oh, it doesn't, like, maybe it doesn't feel like Star Wars, but it's still good. I don't get that at all.
I don't get
it. To me, as someone who goes pretty deep into the lore, I'll focus on one bit. I felt so like respected and spoken to. So before the show, we knew in the lore from like the Rogue One novelization that Cassian was from a planet called Fest. That's what it says on Wikipedia. That's all it said. And the instant the show started, he's like, I'm looking for someone named Kanari. And I was like, why retcon that? I was like, why do that? Like, what's the point of retconning that? And the fact that they worked in the Fest explanation into the show as like a cover, I was like, what? The fact that you took time to do that at all, I felt so respected. Like, thank you. I knew that detail going into the show. Most people don't. Most people don't know he's from Fest. That's something I know. And the fact that they went to that length to like respect that in canon, I was like, hell yes, you have my respect, Tony Gilroy. And I was in from that moment. The moment she was like, we always said Fest, I was like, yes. I literally went like this. I went, yes. I said Fest. I said it out loud.
Biggest reaction. That was Levi's clapping moment.
It was my clapping moment. I went, yes, the canon. It's respected that happened. I don't know, like stuff like that, super little things like that. Like Tim, he comes in and he's talking to Bix and he says, "Boo Tim," 2 M's and not where you think.
Tim.
And he comes in and he's like, "Oh, there's a Wobani run coming in.
Yeah.
Wobani, the planet from Rogue One." I was like, "Cool, thank you. This is totally Star Wars. Like, you're giving me all this." I loved it. But someone else talk.
Wasn't it? Tony Gilroy was like, we have no Easter eggs, of nothing in there that connects, and then all of a sudden it's like already, and that's off the bat. I mean, even seen the dogs from Solo,
the Curling Hounds.
Yeah, the hounds. There you go.
I noticed there was that little vulture bird from Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was in that shipyard. Yeah.
It's called like a steel pecker, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd seen that species any other time.
Yeah, we do hate Tim here. We do. Do not Tim.
Gibbs,
some good Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Hey, Gibbs, what are you thinking?
To me, this show is like exactly why they should be doing Star Wars television. Like,
yes,
like this is what I wanted from the start. And I love Mandalorian. I've liked all the shows, but like, it's such a unique and fresh take. Like it's an opportunity here to do something new. This is the first time I guess Mando felt new because it was the first like small screen Star Wars besides animated stuff. But I don't know, it just felt so fresh and unique, and I mean dark, gritty. Now everyone's throwing that around, but like it's true. And like I don't think a Star Wars show so far has taken its audience so seriously, where like it really demands your attention. So I don't want to sound like too pretentious about it, but it's true. Where like I can see if you're watching this in the surface level, it's sort of just like wanting like legacy characters, wanting something like easy to watch. Like you might not be satisfied, but like the story here is fantastic. So satisfied because it's not just about the like how much the plot is moving here. Whereas like, he just, he killed a couple officers, he gets off planet. That's like the big thing that happens in these 3 episodes. But in that time, we learn so much about Cassian and just like about Ferrix and just like the world. Like I felt like I was watching like a Ferrix TV show for a while there. Like I have never learned so much about just a single planet in like 90 minutes of Star Wars. Like it was incredible to me. Just like I felt like just a day in the life of Ferrix when Cassian was just walking through the street there as the Bellmaster, whatever we'll call him, is
he's called
he's
called the Time Grappler.
The Time Grappler, gotcha. and like we see all the people that were introduced in episode 1. I think this is in episode 2, and just like it's so fantastic there. Like we just get like a slice of life of Cassian, and it ends in just the perfect parallel between sort of going off with like a new mentor, you know, whether it be Luthen or Marva. And just like it's such a great start into like the rest of this TV show. And I think people that are sort of criticizing it, like there's so much more that we're going to see here. This is a very contained part of the story, really just to set up the character of Cassian and the people he's going to be around.
What have been criticisms, guys? I haven't really had
slow, boring. That's the big stuff that's being thrown around here. Yeah.
Bah humbug.
I couldn't agree less.
Yeah, did you notice that it was like 90 minutes of Star Wars during the Age of the Empire, and I didn't see a single stormtrooper?
Yeah.
I love
no
that.
Empire. This besides the logo on the.
And these guys are basically like rent-a-cops, right? They're like the Empire is like
a third party
contracting another company.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
So they're not actual like, I love it.
But I love that though.
I know.
love
I do
how
too.
it's actually showing us like the different levels of it. They say point blank, they're like, "Hey, we're the first line of defense before we have to call in like the big dudes." And like I love everything about this like little bureaucratic like outpost of whatever corporation this is. We don't have a name for it yet, right? They're just
we do.
Company.
There's a subtitle of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing it too. I don't remember. But...
Yeah. I haven't internalized that yet. They're on Morlana 1. And I love the way, like, even the little stuff, like the way they're on Morlana 1 and the way that they would talk, like, they talk about a certain officer, they would say he was on 5, implying, like, talking about the different planets because there's one, like, they don't treat you like an idiot. They're like, yeah, they're not like, oh, there's also more Morlanas and this is where he was. Like, they just talk as if they're in the world. That whole set of their like when the guy was eating the takeout food, like the space Chinese food.
Like, noodles.
How long before they make that available?
I know. Like, Galaxy's Edge is gonna be on that.
That's already in the cookbook. That's already in the Galaxy's Edge cookbook.
Is it already in the cookbook?
Yeah, it's gourmet. Blue glow noodles. It's
I love that.
Stupidly easy to make.
Right.
But I'm surprised they don't have it.
Is it just like what food dye?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
blue.
Yeah. But the fact that like that world, the fact that you just they were just existing in that world, and here I have a question for everyone here, and before we can start talking about some more stuff. But recently, it's been a craze on the internet. Everyone's talking about Glup Shittos, everyone's favorite background character, and like to me, this show is almost all of those kind of people for this universe. Like no one's gonna know who these people are. Like that, like Barza, the guy who's like he's like a construction worker. Yeah. But who was your favorite like new character who's just a person in this world?
Netch.
Netch, that guy.
The guy that just stands there.
Was it Vetch? Netch?
It was Vetch.
I think it was
Vetch.
Who's like
Love
the tall,
that guy.
the tall
So funny.
the enforcer alien that was there.
Yes.
Netch is like a Skyrim thing.
Yeah.
So sorry about that. Vetch,
he was a stand-up.
One guy, I'm bad with names, but when Andor was talking to the guy sort of like to get transport off world, and there was a little like alien like he was
they kept bothering
they kept like bothering him. That was
funny because the implication was like that little guy was like Cassian's from Canary, and he's like, "Shut up, man!" But the alien was right. Like,
there wasn't subtitles.
No, there wasn't subtitles.
No, but he kept being like,
he
kept being like, "It's Canary, it's Canary," and he was like, "No, it's not." Like, it was so funny. I said this last night in our group chat. The standout to me, Linus Mosk, Sergeant Scottish guy. I love him.
Levi loves this guy.
I love him every single line. Like when he's got the blaster and he just like whips out his flask. He just takes a shot of his flask and he's like, "Ah, shit." It's like that's awesome. Like this guy's awesome. Yes, sir. And he's like doing he's like a caricature. I loved it.
He's also telling the guy to like sweep it all under the rug too.
Love it.
He's like canonically he's the first person to ever really swear, I would say, in the Star Wars
they've said
world.
hell and damn and but one of the big ones, the S's or the F's.
Have they always called coffee calf? She said you better have calf made. And
I love that too. Like it's such a canon thing. That's the first time in like on screen we've seen.
Okay, I was like that was really kind of almost.
I'm assuming that's in the books and stuff.
They've called it calf since the 90s. Yeah, I love that.
Oh, okay.
That's an heir to the Empire thing. I loved it. I was like,
oh, well, they know what they're doing. Like,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the fact that they called it calf, I was like, the amount of novels I read where they say calf, I'm like, thank God, it's calf in the refresher. That's what they called bathrooms.
Yeah,
they say refresher in books as well. So
I know if Jenny were here, she would want to talk about the indigenous people's references.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I loved all the young Cassian stuff.
The tribe and like all of the different wow, you've seen photos of like uncontacted Amazonian tribes with like planes flying over, and it's like this is one of the first times we've ever, because when you go to Sorgan, is it in Mandalorian season 1?
Yeah.
They're primitive. They have krill pawns, but they also have droids, and they know about blasters and ATSTs. Like it's not their intergalactic stuff is happening next to them. Yeah. Like this
They're
is
in a little camp by like a river.
We've ever really seen human beings in the Star Wars universe unaware of technology. Am I wrong in that?
Sure. I mean, there are like mining equipment like in that like massive like quarry that they were looking at.
Well, it's very clear
but
that
like
I see outsiders, and they're like, "This is dangerous, but we should go investigate it." And
like, right down to like they're literally using blow darts,
blow guns. Star
Wars blow darts, so sick,
bro. That poor separatist guy got riddled.
I know.
He
reminded me of
that guy woke up and started shooting. I don't feel bad for him.
He really got hit with like 20.
He did also shoot. Yeah, he did. Also
that guy was a bad dude.
No, but I love that detail. Is like, they had like the Separatist Alliance like logo on them. Like that's such a small thing.
Yes, I know.
You didn't need to do that, Cassian. You didn't need to Cassian. Andor, the show. Like you didn't need to do that. But you did.
Ever since Book of Boba Fett, though, the indigenous peoples, like they're getting their
for sure.
They're like, Disney's really putting it up for them, like in terms of just anybody that can identify with being. And
there were no subtitles. I love that. There were no subtitles. You just had to like feel.
And also
they were all kids.
Those characters that were in the spacesuits getting riddled with darts, like they looked like kind of not human. They looked like greenish in color, didn't they?
I think that might have been from whatever they.
They had spacesuits on too, though, which people don't usually.
Were they just yellow dudes?
I thought that was
like
race.
I thought their poison like turned me off.
Oh,
I was trying to figure that out.
There was like a gas coming out of the plane.
Yeah, I thought maybe that's what it was. Maybe they're just yellow guys. I don't know. Who knows?
I thought they were yellow in the beginning, but
because they were separatists, and usually separatists are alien species. So I was like,
that's true.
They reminded me like of the Umbarans, even though they're not. I don't know why. It's just they reminded me of like.
No, you're right.
That's fair though.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Is it the spacesuit thing?
Yeah, it could be.
A little bit, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think and then like when they take the masks off, I feel like maybe they need those on.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially we'll see an Umbaran in the show because when we get to Coruscant, Sly Moore and Massimito will probably be around.
I'm so excited, and that's apparently
the fact that we're gonna do like a politics thing in this show. We're on Coruscant,
right?
Is like,
next
so
up,
wait a minute. They got the deep fake genius guy to do Luke for Book of Boba Fett. Yeah. Wouldn't they want to now do like upgraded Tarkin for this show?
I will say, I think
they got the technology to do it now. Like, do it.
That's true. This stuff is more likely to happen in season 2, because that's when we get right into Rogue One. So that's really Krennic's like
but Tarkin's definitely like
Tarkin's a surefire bet. I'm just saying, but right now in this show, like I don't see.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Tarkin's like
that's true. We don't know. We don't know
active.
That's true. That's true. I just don't know how high up in.
I think Palpatine.
He's very high, dude. I mean, he's high all the way back.
No, I know. I'm wondering how much we're gonna see of that. At least the Empire side. So, but we'll see. We'll have to see.
I think
Palpatine. Scroll it back. Did you guys notice that the tribe was like all kids? There were no adults.
Yeah, it was, Oh,
the adults died in the mining accident,
had some,
right?
Lord of the Flies situation going on. So they.
I
want to know like more about that. Like.
Yeah.
Well, also the implication as well, because we know from Rogue One, Cassian's been in this fight since he was 6 years old, but he looked older than 6 years, and the mining stuff was clearly abandoned, and that's to me, it was a separatist ship that crashed, but she said there was a Republic frigate on the way. To me, the implication I got there was that the Republic was trying to mine this place, because later they say Kenari was destroyed in a mining disaster. Because I bet the Empire probably, when the Empire takes over, tries to keep mining, restart that stuff. But I don't know.
I think that is the implication.
I bet the Republic did some shady stuff there, and it didn't work out, and like that's where there's no adults. Like these kids probably got left because maybe their parents were miners like a while ago, and they're just not around anymore. Because
that's reasonable.
Death Star testing the crystals.
Could be.
That could,
I think wait.
I mean, eventually.
Eventually, for the Empire,
Where are the clones at? Because I know there's like on the trailers we see all the clones and on like a
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Corey, we're thinking the same thing. I was like, when are we going to see the clones from the trailer?
I think as long as we're getting flashbacks with Marva and what happens, because we know like Luthen talks about his father dying, so I imagine we're going to meet his dad, his adopted dad.
Yeah, isn't he?
Because Marva's his adopted mom. Well, I think he's casted, and they talked about it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Because we'll see, because we know from the trailers, we'll see stuff with clones.
Right.
And so wherever Marva's going, like, I bet you that scene we were watching is probably the very end of the Clone War, and the Republic is going to switch to the Empire real quick, and so the clones are going to become technically stormtroopers. You know, those chips are on, and that's when we're probably going to see that in the coming weeks as they continue to give us flashbacks. Because it's not like Boba Fett where you needed to get Boba narratively to the back to tank to get the flashback. Like the show is not; it's just giving you them. It's just it's weaving the story.
Yeah,
so
like the 2 stories going on at like once.
Yeah, so I think it'll probably be next week. We'll see some clone stuff.
Woo!
That's where my brain goes to every time I think of Andor.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm with you there.
Yeah, that's my.
But I mean, like, and Mon Moth was gonna be next ep, right?
Yep.
I think that was said, right? Yeah. Coruscant, baby.
Yeah, it's wild. Well, let's, I mean, go ahead, Gibbs.
Go ahead, yeah.
I just said it because I'm excited to see the Senate.
Yeah.
Program.
I mean, I guess if not counting Kenobi, I mean, we haven't seen Coruscant in.
Oh man, like this Rogue One.
Technically, Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One. It's like
even then,
crazy.
It's not. I wouldn't.
It's like, yeah, it's not like a sizable amount.
This they clearly built Coruscant for this.
Yeah, you know? yeah. Oh my god, dude, I'm so excited to see the Senate room again and all that stuff. It's gonna be so cool.
That's the thing is, I think we see characters like Masameda and Slymore and all these characters that like make sense to be there because you know I with Tony Gilroy talking about fan service and everything. I think
ET.
I think fan service is such an interesting word because like it's all like it's all for one thing, right? I mean, it's ultimately so. I think having characters that we've seen in the Senate before makes sense to be in it. You know, like sure, if Darth Vader just appeared on the Senate floor, that'd be very strange.
He's in one of those pods.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah, that would be weird. But like,
Your Honor,
that would be definitely a little weird. Yeah,
you got to have characters that we've seen in the prequels. You know, in the Senate floor, even like Bail Organa makes sense to be there.
He's gonna be in this show.
Yeah,
Bail is.
That's a lot.
Very likely. Yeah. There's a lot.
And even Palpatine makes sense to be.
Yep.
I thought that as well.
We're gonna see Ian McDermott, I'm sure, at some point.
So.
At least in a hologram form, I think probably.
Which I'm so excited.
But if he pulled up,
I think he might pull up. I don't know.
I feel like
we
at
just
this point,
don't know anything about the Imperial Senate. Like, not really.
Yeah. And that is something that I've always like been very curious to like.
It's such like a throwaway line in New Hope. I feel like it's gone now.
But they've built on it since Kenobi.
I know. Yes,
you're right.
Now we're gonna get the full blown.
Even in Kenobi, like the Senate still has some power because even GI Grand Quizzy is like, you would dare kidnap an Imperial senator's daughter? Like you can't do that, man. Like that's kind of messed up. So even then. There's still some order. There's some order, but we see in the trailers, and we'll see next week, which I think I don't think we'll see Palpatine so soon if we ever do. Is like the Senate is empty. Like it's just Mon Mothma talking to like nobody.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. That's part of the
maybe
thematic.
they did that on purpose though for a trailer because they didn't want
us
like looking
edit
really
everyone
closely.
out.
So they were just like, let's just toss the layer with the people.
That would be something they would do.
Yeah.
And like half of them are like cameos or like people we've already know.
But we've been talking for 30 minutes here, and I feel like we haven't really talked about the show. Like, how about that opening? It felt like Blade Runner. He's on.
Talking about the opening.
Yeah,
that's
exactly what I thought as well. 2049 vibes.
Did anybody else get that vibe?
Oh, for sure. The music, everything.
That
music.
Plus Blade Runner show is happening. Just wanted to put that in.
Oh my gosh, I talk about this for so
Take it away,
much,
Jamie.
guys. That the fact that like Star Wars music should be synths. It should be. There should be so much synth in the Star Wars universe, and like having like a spy show actually like include this is it's so good. And I love that we had that Blade Runner aesthetic in the first like thing alone, between the rain, between him going to like this like seedy district, and like there's like the like dancers like in like the windows and everything, and it's like, oh my god, this is like literally like Night City out here. And then we had it was just incredible, and like I'm obsessed with it like immediately. And then you get like so many different like vibes like of on the show alone, and like I'm so happy that we saw like that actual very dark version of it, because we have like that version in Kenobi as well. I forget the name of the planet, Corey, but the one where they show up with the neon lights.
Daiyu.
Yeah, which is like cool, but like honestly, like Marvala was like a different kind of like, it was edgier, it was cool.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of reminded me of Andor's first scene in Rogue One.
Yes.
Like kind
the
of
rings
very
of
similar.
Kafrene.
how
Yes.
gritty that was, and like how
Yeah.
I thought that was
Very
interesting how they
very
brought it up.
intentional. But
Very
yes.
intentional.
We see that. Yeah, he's just.
That's how you
first
knew
kind
he
of
was
guy.
going to shoot that guy in the
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if he's gonna do it, and like if
He did it to his own guy. He's going to shoot this guy. Yeah.
Well, I was questioning because I was like, maybe there's some growth we're gonna see, but no, he just shoots.
Well, he hesitated. So the growth now is he didn't hesitate.
Yeah.
No, but he didn't hesitate out of like I don't want to kill him. It was
Yeah,
more
it was
like,
more
he
like-
hesitated out of like I don't want to deal with the shit I'm gonna have to deal with after I kill him.
Yeah. And
It was brutal though. He was begging for his life. Like
I know.
Like that was
Straight up
kind of
for like a
intense.
minute there. Like it was like okay.
Yeah,
It's
he was
spoiler.
asking for it.
Well, that, and
He
that
was
was
asking
the
for it.
thing
Right.
out of like seeing it at the premiere. Because one thing I'll say is like the first 3-4 minutes of the episode, we had like some people coming onto our row as we were watching it, so I missed a lot of dialogue at the bar. But I remember getting out of the premiere and thinking, wow, like Cassian did like shoot that guy in the face who was begging for his life. And then when at first I was like, that's kind of, wow, that's intense. And then rewatching it now and hearing the dialogue, I kind of understood the position he was in, right? Where it's like, if he doesn't do this thing, this guy, surely they're going to go to whatever, police station they got there. And that's where he's going to tell the proper story. And then Cassian's going to go away forever. So it's,
I mean, he's not like a cold-blooded killer. I mean, it's always been like this is what I
Out of
have to
necessity.
do for the rebellion.
Yeah.
Like it's very much like that in Rogue One too. It's like the guy wasn't gonna climb out of there. I don't know if you remember the scene, but Cassian has to climb like up. This guy's like a broken arm or like a leg or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Like I don't know. This guy's dead weight and he's just gonna snitch on me. So
well, and then the like Blade Runner vibes. Aubrey hadn't seen it yet, so I was watching it with her last night, and she like flipped out over the Blade Runner vibes. So also then like she said it had like Tron vibes to it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you combine.
I just said that as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, exactly. Just and I totally like with the lights and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the cinematography. Also, they know how to use shaky cam in a really good way.
yeah,
I was gonna say that as well.
So much better than Kenobi. Sorry, I know you were there, but
I know you were there, Corey, but
and it's so weird because I never remember it being like that. But yeah,
on set, but then you look at it.
Yeah,
it looks like a movie. I don't know. It looks like a movie to me.
Yeah, I loved the hallway into that club because that was really like I got the Tron kind of vibe because it was like the lights were like around the hallway.
The whole thing, all of Ferrix to me just looked like amazing.
Yeah.
There was depth everywhere,
and it had that Daft Punky music too.
The end of episode 2 there was just like a rock song. Like
that's what I was that's what I wanted to
actual
it was just like straight up drums going on. And like that was like being played like live on set. You know that, so that's pretty.
To me,
that was played live.
Well, we've seen.
Well, I don't know that scene specifically.
In the Disney
Max Rebo.
In the Disney Plus Day look, we see that they had the orchestra literally on set in scenes playing the score.
That is insane.
Because Diego Luna was like, it's easier for me to act. Like I hear the music, like I can like feel like I'm in the universe.
Because we've heard from the press briefings and stuff that Nicholas Bertel, who did we can talk about the score. Like I love the theme. He's been working on it for like 2 years, whereas say Natalie Holt on a Kenobi had 2.5 months, 3 months to do everything. Not a lot of time at all. He had years to work on it. He's had the score in the can forever. So by the time they were even shooting, like they had the music ready.
That's awesome. That's perfect.
So
I noticed for Kenobi they would play music like prequel music.
That's because it wasn't done yet. They didn't have a score.
Yeah, exactly. So that must be super cool to be on set knowing that you're listening to the music that's coming out in a few years, but it's so like.
I mean, I'm sure all you guys have seen the behind the scenes of Mandalorian season 1. Like Mike, you were talking about that Sorgan episode earlier. There's that scene where like Jon Favreau walks up with his phone with like Ludwig's recording on it. It's like, hey Bryce, like listen to this, like listen to this piece of work, and it's the Mandalorian theme. But, like even it wasn't done yet because that's just even on a normal production cycle, your score isn't done before the show starts. But this guy Nicholas Bertel, he just killed it. Like I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
But the rock song though, it made me think of Clone Wars movie in season 1 Kiner music where they were experimenting with synths and they were experimenting with other kinds of instruments. And I hadn't heard this kind of music in Star Wars since way back then because people forget about that. Like the Kiners just did it. They were like rock song, synth every day, synth and rock at the same time.
And it was sick.
and it was awesome.
That's a Clone Wars movie,
and we haven't gotten it since. And now it's like,
I know.
Yeah, Ben was right. It's total. It's like a rock song.
Yeah, no, I love the ending of episode 2.
Well, okay, that's not true. We haven't gotten since. I'm thinking Jedi Fallen Order. You get the Who.
The Who, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's a straight up rock. I don't even know exactly.
Yeah,
I know, but it's not. That's different.
It's a little different, but it's.
Can we?
I know, but even. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, can we talk about Stellan Skarsgård's retractable katana?
Like his katana cane?
Yes.
It reminded me of Ronin from Visions. He had the retractable.
Yeah.
He just felt like it had kind of like a samurai thing going on to it that I love, dude.
It reminded me of one of those like Halloween like fake knives that you just like press up against.
Out of the
blades. It's just like.
He's the best.
I love this character. I'm so excited. To see more about him.
Like I feel like we didn't really see that much more of him from what we have already seen with the sneak peek on Disney Plus.
Well, I like that scene. I like that scene
on the bus, on the space bus.
Talking about old fart.
That was pretty funny.
Like him putting like explosives on the doors and the windows.
Yes,
he like goes in for like a meeting.
Make an exit for yourself before you.
Like
what do you say?
Smart.
Like make an exit.
Yeah, he's like rule number 2. It's like make your exit when you make your entrance.
That's right.
Something quotable that we can't quote.
Something quotable, which is just like, he's full of one-liners already.
Badass. So. He was full of one-liners in the.
His ship is so cool.
Meeting spot.
He's just cool.
His ship might be like, if we didn't have it on the tier list, it might be in my top 5 at least, or top 10.
It has a
Corellian action first.
It has a Corellian like Falcon type cockpit,
and the Falcon on the left side, and then like I love it.
Was Cassian flying like a modified Y-wing? It looked like it. It had like the engines of a Y-wing and the cockpit of a Y-wing, but they were like shoved together. Like
I think it was modified.
It looks super cool.
Which did you guys see all the ships in that yard? Chad.
Yeah, I was like, I paused the screen and just there was.
I'm pretty sure there was a VCX, a ghost in one of them, in one of the shots. They looked like the ghost.
It wasn't
the ghost.
It's like a diamond shape. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was also. I don't think it was necessarily, but the Bestune Legacy, which is Ochi's ship from Rise of Skywalker, was there, and I was like, that's cool, because I was like, hey, maybe that was Ochi. I could see Ochi like getting drunk on Ferrix with all these random aliens. I'd see that. So just stuff like that, like I don't know, cool. He lied. He lied when it said people lied when they said it's not Star Wars. This is Star Wars. It's so Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I
agree with
you.
It
almost feels more Star Wars than most Star Wars things, to be honest.
I didn't want to say it, but I mean,
that's like I feel like a lot of the other shows are trying to like emulate or like replicate like what we got. It's like Kenobi is like, here we're gonna try to make this look like the prequels.
Yeah,
like this felt like new and unique, which like in a way makes it feel more Star Wars. You just said it. You thought it felt more
tried to look like. I don't know if Kenobi tried to look like the prequels.
It like tried
just
more than
I feel like it did its own thing, and
with
great success. Not so much.
I think overall all the shows have tried to make it look like Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, like if you put this side by side with Rogue One, I mean, they almost look connected, the same movie.
It feels very original trilogy. The sets and everything.
Yeah.
No, the shot that impressed me most in terms of the sets was there's a moment where the camera is up, and it's two guys sort of just working on a beam. It's like an old steel beam like you would see in like an image from the 30s, like working on the Empire State Building or something. And the way it comes down into frame, and like at first they're probably CGI, but the way that they're very real people you see interacting on this huge thing, just like coming down into this yard, I was just so impressed by that. Like, I haven't seen that in a Star Wars anything, actually. Just the way of the scale of the whole construction yard, all the gloves on the wall, the storytelling with that, all the unique gloves, everyone coming out, everything about that. I loved it. And we haven't even talked about Cyril Karn yet, or my beautiful, very awkward boy, who literally, he gave me secondhand anxiety when he was trying to give that speech. I was like, ugh. And he's like,
I love his character.
Strong
he
was courageous.
Just from the first scene, like just
and the clap, the pity clap. I love that when Linus just starts clapping. I was like, yes, this guy, that's my guy.
Yes, I love how his like intro was literally the supervisor was just like, you do something to your uniform, and he's like, I took it in. I added some. And I'm like, dude,
what a nerd, dude! It's so funny.
Yeah, true, Jamie. You probably.
I immediately was just like, oh, what did you do? And
hilarious.
That's me up there.
Like you just see the difference between him and the like guy in charge. So it was like run down, like dirty suit, and his is like super.
Yeah, I
nice
loved
and, like,
I
fit
loved
to him.
it was I can't remember the guy's name. The other officer that was with him on the
Linus
when
Moss.
they
That's
went
what
to
I'm
the planet.
talking about.
Yeah, when he was like
Levi loves.
when he was talking to him and he was like talking him up like people only do half measures, like nobody's
Walter.
nobody does what needs to be done anymore.
Breaking
And,
Bad.
and he's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like,
Cyril's like, oh my god, yeah. So someone I agree with it.
yeah,
I
mean,
like he was like blushing. He was
I
like,
found him.
yay,
Yeah,
yay. Like,
hey. I agree with you.
It's fermenting out there. I'm not even kidding. I had to pause the show and look up what the word fermenting means. Because it means like to incite rebellion. Because I thought he said fermenting.
I did
like
too.
something's going bad, but
I
no,
did too.
fomenting.
Fomenting.
That makes more sense. I was
To
so
incite
confused by
rebellion.
that line. Okay.
And I was like,
Ferment.
wait a second.
It's fermenting.
What are we fermenting?
And I was
I'm
like,
fermenting.
okay,
I'm
sure,
fermenting
but-
bread.
The
Sir.
wall.
My my yeast is fermenting.
It was
right.
so confusing. No, but like he not I
Spots,
can't remember anyone's name aside from Cassian in the show so far, but
Yeah,
but the main
fair.
officer,
Cyril.
your favorite dude, Levi.
Or Linus or Cyril. My beautiful
Cyril.
boys, Cyril.
Cyril.
Convor.
I love how he is the perfect example of an imperial overachiever who gets utterly smacked in
Yes.
the face when something goes
I
wrong.
know. And that's the thing, though.
Like,
That's what I love
It's
so much.
perfect.
He wasn't even technically an imperial, like they are, but the way
He's
way
on
that
the
this was
way.
just so small scale, like that was my favorite part. In terms of the way the narrative was structured, is that it doesn't hold your hand, and the top guy, like the guy who left to go to the conference, literally spelled it out. He said they harassed a guy, they paid for it, let it go, just move on. Like if he got his way, there'd be no show, because that's right. Like that's exactly what happened. He knows.
Yeah.
He's like, I just move on. It's just this guy, like, even though he is definitely an antagonist, he doesn't feel evil. Like I still feel bad for him. 'cause
Yeah,
Yeah,
why do we
I-
feel sympathy for him?
Yeah,
That's
he's
so
just
a little
weird.
bit, yeah.
I commented on that.
like
where
he's
it's
just
yeah.
this guy who's like, I'm just trying to do my job. Like you killed 2 people. Like I
he
want
got
to
a
bring
lot
him
of
justice.
screen time, and that seemed
I know.
very.
And they tried to
deliberate.
shut
Like,
him
why
up,
are
but he
they-
was
yeah.
like, no.
But just
He's
the fact
really,
that
really willing to prove himself, and
I
I,
know,
think that
yeah.
he's,
Yeah,
seeking that promotion out there because he wants to be the
For
top
sure.
company man and eventually imperial
Oh.
man. And I think that would be like a good path for him. Is somehow
Good-
out of
good
this
arc,
blunder
yeah.
he gets
That would be
promoted
really
to like
cool.
I don't know, like the ISB or something. That'd be pretty.
I
cool.
think that's
Yeah.
that's
Oh
what's
my
happening.
god, that would be.
Yeah, but
that would
I
be
mean,
very, very
part of
cool.
me feels like it's not even just about like his own like gain here. Like I think he really just cares.
cares,
About, like,
yeah.
It's like
Oh,
these
he's
are my
bothered
like.
by it. You can
these
tell
are-
he's
yeah.
super bothered by it.
Is that, like,
Yeah,
cool,
the
I mean,
last
like,
shot of him in episode 3, as he's like trying to hold his composure like so hard, and it's just, like he's about to
Yeah,
break.
it's
Like
like
I loved that.
shell-shocked.
And it was that close up, and it lingered. I loved it. I loved it. Oh
It was
my
like
God.
his first real look, I guess, at like how things can go wrong and people can get hurt.
Yeah,
'Cause I
we
think
literally
in that
watched like their
moment-
plan fall apart.
Yeah, I think at that moment
That was that
he's
episode.
feeling guilty too about like all his.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are probably dead. They were all around him, and so he's got to deal with the loss of that, and then
True.
going to superiors and saying, "Well, I did this thing I wasn't necessarily supposed to do, and now all these people are dead." And
yeah.
Yeah. So many
And
wasted
you-
resources.
So mind you, this all started because two of his
Yeah,
quote-unquote men
I just
died
felt the way
in the
it
first
felt so small but so impactful. Like
Yeah.
another small scene that to me captures the whole dynamic of how successful the show is the one of the corpo officers, the guy shoots Tim, and you're like, damn, Tim's dead. I didn't like Tim. Did I want him to die? I don't know. But Tim's rolling down the stairs, and then the officer guy of that pack, he grabs the gun from the guy.
Oh, I
from
know,
the guy,
I know.
From the guy who shot him, and is like, dude, what the hell? Like, go back
Right.
to the ship. And like in that moment,
Give
in
me
that
the
whole, like,
rifle.
nothing, everything about it just felt so complicated because you're like, I didn't like Tim at all, but then this guy like feels bad about it, and like he takes the gun, like that's a, I
And
feel
he,
like that's a,
but he blows
I feel
up.
like-
He blows up. In
I
the
know,
end,
but
so.
I just I was like, I feel like I agree with that decision. Like this is so weird. Like everything about this is
Yes.
It's
It was so
morally
good.
ambiguous.
You gotta-
it's
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
morally ambiguous.
yeah,
It was like
because-
Tim. I was like, Tim brought these guys here, and then
Yeah.
they killed him, and then he felt. It was just good.
Yeah, when the guys got blown up by the like fake out ship, and it's like they're like screaming in pain, and they're like, "Get the back done!" It's like it's not so much like we're like cheering, like
It's just
you
sad.
see some
It's like,
stormtroopers get taken out. It's like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
It's
fact-
a little
the fact that
like
these people had
ooh,
faces.
yeah.
You could almost, and even in Tim's position, right, you could sympathize a bit about why he's making the decisions he's making too, because in his mind he just keeps seeing like Cassian clearly, because all he's seen is his girlfriend being upset, right, every time Cassian's around. He's seen this something's not right there, and it's constantly happening, and secrets are being kept. He did not go about it the right way. He should have talked to her about it. But you can sympathize with his actions, which, yeah, he didn't deserve to die for them. He did it in a horrible way, and clearly, like, my guy needs to not make drunk decisions. But
wow,
yeah, he's
drunk and jealous is not a
I
good
love the
thing.
I love the payphone he went to on Ferrix.
Yeah,
like just to make that call.
That was like even like their relationship, like a small part of the show, but like was so effective. Like I felt for like that heartbreak when I can't remember her name. Bix finds out. Like I was like, oh my god.
Is it Bix with a B? Like
it's
B-I-X.
Yeah,
B-I-X.
Okay, because when they first said it, I thought it said Biggs, and I was like, wait, what?
No.
That's way too important.
Which, by the way, star of Morbius, right?
I know
she's the female lead in Morbius. She is way better in this.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
I can't say how good she is in Morbius.
It's
bad.
Time.
Yeah, because Morbius is a bad film. It's big. That's what she said. That's her.
That's not why you said in your review on the channel.
Yeah, when she was like handcuffed up, she went, "It's Bixen.
It's Bixen time."
No.
Yeah, when Tim died, he was like, "Oh, it's Bixen time."
What a way to experience that, though. She witnesses,
chained up,
him get
like,
shot, and she's just stuck there staring
torturous
at him
experience.
for who knows how long.
But like he literally like bum rushed a dude with a gun. He was
multiple guys with guns.
Yeah, but she's also like, this guy's kind of an idiot.
A dumb, tragic character.
Yeah.
Well, he died instantly too. Instantly.
Yes.
Speaking of the background, talking about the payphone. Did you guys see like the Catman on Ferrix who was like hopping around?
No,
I loved it. There's like a guy. There's a guy with like it's in the third one. There's a guy who like he like steps up to a ledge and like hops down and he's like walking around like this. I loved it. I'm gonna find it. It's so funny.
I want to go back and look at all the background a little bit.
There was so many because
definitely missed.
I'm looking like, oh, that's the Lugabees from Solo and Force Awakens. I'm like, oh, that's the guy with the big orange arms from Jakku who's dragging this thing and is yellow. There he is.
Did you ever see the 1313 footage that they did TV show that they like did a little sort of like
George Lucas' show,
Some of this reminded me of that where like she goes to that like back alley like parts dealer to like get that rare part or whatever.
Yeah,
she's really good, but it felt like that kind of like
so
somebody mentioned
much
shaky cam. It had that very like, oh, we're just going into a back alley place to do some stuff, and it's it
was called Underworld, right?
Yeah, Underworld. Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Underworld. There was so much. How many episodes were like written?
Like 50
or something like that. So like they've been pulling they've been pulling from those old scripts and putting into the new shows. And I totally agree. I think it's a great comparison. It definitely feels like at least the especially the first episode felt a lot like Underworld, kind of that vibe, and which was very cool.
Did
another character
the B droid? Didn't even talk about the B droid. I wanted to
B2 Emo.
I wanted to say how he immediately reminded me of Wally, the way he was going.
I know. That's what I thought of.
It was shot like the exact same way.
He goes into the house.
He went in the ship, and I was like,
when he goes into the ship, I'm like, this is Wally.
This is Wally.
They were definitely shouting themselves out.
I ended up forgetting about it.
Wally is one of my favorite movies.
Wally from here.
Yeah, Wally is one of my favorite movies. Like this might. I know. I usually say it every show or every movie, but this droid might be my favorite droid. So.
I wasn't expecting the voice either.
His eye
and
looks
the voice,
like
and I love
Space Odyssey.
Good, fun little thing there.
I love his theme song. It's my as he's just when we first introduced to him, set the tone for him so perfectly.
And that was even kind of Wally. I pulled that as well. Yeah, I totally agree.
I feel like he's like a foreshadowing character for K2SO a bit. Just the dynamic.
Yeah, because like the dialogue, they can go back and forth with the droid. Yeah,
I still think K2 not being in the show or at least in this season, is sort of a mistake. I mean, obviously the show's gonna be good.
I think it'll
be my favorite part.
Once we get there, I think it'll be.
Mistake is the wrong word. It's just sad to me that.
I think he'll be there halfway through the season.
Sorry,
I don't think
he's not in season 1.
I mean, he said it. But I mean,
I had to open. I'm really quick. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. Is that the Black Series one?
No, it's the Disney Parks.
Disney Parks.
Oh, the Disney one.
Online. Cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway.
Very cool. Love it.
Yeah. By the way, the Catman is at 6. I found him. He's at 6 minutes and 20 seconds into episode 3.
I'm gonna look at this. You guys keep.
So yeah.
That's very true.
It's just
And he
Oh,
does
yeah.
expand up and down.
it was a little light. He gave me just the
Yeah.
fact
There he is.
that he was like, it felt, and we haven't really talked at all, but Fiona Shaw's performance as Marva too. So
I
good.
was. Yeah, that's the next thing. I was
Petunia.
Harry
talking about.
Potter's aunt, right?
Yeah, Petunia.
and that whole thing with the the people hitting hitting metal to warn people. Like,
Yeah.
what a
Yeah, I
cool-
loved that. Like
that.
that. Like they all were tapped into that kind of.
And when she used it to
Amazing.
try and to scare the guys out of her house, like, you don't want to be here. You want to be here when it stops. Like, what does it mean? Like, just getting in their heads, like the way that Ferrix was so united, and they had their own community, and they're a
Yeah.
small part of a corporate sector, which is technically part of the Empire. But even the corporos are like, we don't really go to Ferrix. Like, they have their own way of doing things. Just let it be. And that the whole dynamic between them, the shots of the the East team, as it was called, like walking through the streets as they hear the banging get louder. It was haunting. Like, it was just so cool. I loved it. I loved
What
it.
was the time code again, Levi?
6 minutes
Yeah,
and 20
Like
seconds.
this is Ferrix, a Star Wars story. I'm saying it.
These
They're
first
gonna
episodes
move
are-
on, obviously, but the first 3 episodes,
I think
so much Ferrix.
something bad's gonna happen to Ferrix. Actually, I think we're gonna
yeah.
go back to
Yeah,
it,
probably. Yeah.
and it's what's really gonna also get Cassian to join the rebellion.
It's gonna mirror the mining incident.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm.
They're at a mine
Oh!
essentially, right?
Great,
Yeah.
great point. I loved the mirroring at the end of episode 3 with Cassian getting adopted, and then the end of this episode.
And
Yeah.
then getting adopted
I love
again.
they kept cutting back. Yeah, that's
my
right.
new space dad.
Space Dad, that's right.
My rich.
Yeah, no, that was really really cool parallel at the end. I loved
My billionaire space dad.
the cutting back to like young Cassian, like it could have been edited like really poorly and like could have just not worked, but like I feel like it really worked and like helped the story progress like a lot, which was I really
Yeah,
like,
and this
especially
is-
how it wrapped up at the end.
I'm glad they released 3 episodes at once. Like,
Yeah,
for me, just watching them back to back, it felt like I was watching one episode.
Yeah.
And if I'm ever gonna like put something onto this show, I'm gonna say watch 3 episodes all at once, because
Yeah.
if they dropped one, it's a good story. That like the
Mm-hmm.
flashbacks are just like it's basically a 90-minute episode. I think they could have gone the Bad Batch route.
Yeah.
Because Bad Batch season 1, that like premiere could have just been a 4-episode arc, but
hmm
Well, I've heard that as well online. People saying, like, with your expectations with this show, if you're used to watching the animation, view it that way. Like, they formed it like arcs, and like when you watch one episode of a Clone Wars arc, it's not that it's bad. In fact, it can be quite good. Like, Corey, you were on Twitter. We were talking about on Twitter. You just watched the Citadel arc. Like, watching the first episode of the arc, it's good, but you want to watch all 3 to get the experience of the story.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
when we rewatch the show, like 4, 5, 6 are going to be a thing, and then 7, 8, 9, and then 10, 11, 12, and even that's how they're formatting the whole second half of the show. Season 2, each 3 episodes is a year. Like, it's very explicit that these are arcs, like Clone Wars. And so I don't know, for me as an animation fan too, it feels pretty natural. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think had they aired these weekly, that would have been rough. I think that
Yeah.
these 3 over 3 weeks, I think the reception would be different if it was that.
I
And
would
I
agree.
that's what
And
I
the first episode was great, but
Oh yeah, well I think 3
Yeah.
for me was like
Yeah, stand
the
up.
peak one.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
what I'm interested about is the pacing going forward. So
yeah, the
like,
week to week.
the week to week thing is, I think next week's, I've heard, because I guess a lot of press people got access to all 4.
Yeah, I
They've
saw-
said that
saw
next week's is very good from start to finish, and it's pacing wise, it's very good. But I'm wondering if we're going to get more self-contained story arcs throughout this season. In the
Yeah,
trailers, we
going
see
forward.
that Cassian
yeah.
is
I
in
think we
that
will.
like Imperial facility or something. So is that going to be?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is making me think now that that's a flashback, because they talk about how he has a prison record.
I think
For
that when he
getting
has
stuff?
the hat on, that's definitely a flashback.
That's
yeah.
definitely a flashback.
Yeah.
But all the prison
Because
stuff,
he
which
doesn't
I
have a
didn't consider.
beard in that shot, right? Or maybe
No, his beard. I just didn't even consider that.
yeah.
I assumed naturally watching the trailers that we would start on Ferrix and then he would go on this adventure, get captured,
Right.
all that
so did
stuff.
I.
But
Yeah.
I think what's actually happening is the majority of the show is going to take place before what we just saw, in terms of like the Mon Mothma stuff is gonna be current. But because I didn't even just process it to this now, but yeah, when they're talking about how he did all this stuff. They said he has an Imperial record already. You know, he did.
Yeah.
He did. They reference he did X, Y, and Z. That would make sense if we see that.
Yeah,
we
but we can't get any Luthen if it's not in the current timeline. Like,
Well, no,
either.
but we can follow Luthen with Mon Mothma. We know Saw's going to be in it. Like,
That's
Yeah.
true.
I think
Oh my
I think
God,
it's
I
going to
forgot
be.
about Saw.
I think it's. I'm not saying it's all going to be flashback. I'm just saying I think there's going to be a healthy amount of.
Yeah.
And this is what.
Yeah,
happened.
I kind of how it was
I-
in these episodes.
I'm
first-
quite
yeah.
sure going forward that each episode's be more complete in like a first, second, third act sort of way. Like,
Yeah,
I think
well,
it's
I
very
mean,
intentional that these 3 episodes are like supposed to be one. Like,
Right.
they know what they were doing. Like, I don't think it's going to be like that going forward. Obviously, they're going to be arcs. Like, they've said that, but
Actually,
I still think an episode will stand on its own better. Because
But
I don't
don't-
think I would have as much praise if I had just seen
No.
episode 1 last night.
That's
It's
fair.
still really good. It looks
Yeah.
great. But like the emotional like storytelling, the
yeah, I
narrative
mean the
there
story. Yeah,
didn't
I
come
think it would've-
together.
I actually-
needed the
I'm-
3 episodes.
thinking about it, the one consistent thing that was sort of regardless of the arc structure in the first 3 was they kept cutting back to flashbacks. And now
Yeah.
thinking about how there's the clone scene we have to see, I think the flashback thing is going to be throughout the whole season. I think
That's
there's
what I
just going to
think
be
as well.
I think there's just going to be a whole dual story going on. I didn't
Yeah,
even
I think
consider that.
There's
But
nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Yeah.
like, think about like the
No.
way that like at least I haven't not caught up, but with the Westworld, the way that like the first like season ran, you had like 3
Yeah.
simultaneous storylines going on.
and one
the
of
entire
which
time
was
until,
like
the twist.
20 years ago. Yeah.
But like
Yeah,
that,
but yeah,
that
you-
was like
yeah.
really you just spoiled it. I was trying to not see what the twist was.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No one
But,
said
like,
anything. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you sort of.
I haven't seen it. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it. It's fine. Just go
There's
ahead,
like the
go
3
ahead,
different
continue.
storylines like going on like at once, and like they don't necessarily like connect like through that way. But like with like this like alone, like I
You mean
feel
oh
like
no, Westworld?
they
Aubrey.
will.
Westworld's a masterpiece.
No.
Westworld's my favorite
Oh.
TV show.
I'm not caught up.
What?
but-
Okay.
You know
Sorry.
what's a
Westworld
masterpiece?
season
The
1
Bad
and 2.
Batch.
Season
I'm
one
is
having
a
my day
masterpiece.
today.
Season
Here
one
is
a
my-
masterpiece.
Texas
Here
photos
is
of
Man in
season
Black,
2.
6-inch figure of Ed Harris as the Man in Black.
Okay.
I love Westworld so
Oh,
much.
you know what? It is a masterpiece. You have an action figure. It is a masterpiece.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah,
Just like
a good
everything.
point
I
right
know.
there.
proves it.
You changed my mind.
Season 1 and 2 phenomenal.
I'm
I
convinced.
don't. Get me
Jamie,
wrong
I will
at
get
all.
my Johnny Silverhand action figure, and you'll agree with me.
I
haven't
have him
seen this
downstairs.
show.
Johnny's downstairs.
I'll convince you.
No, I'm right here.
Oh, not you, Johnny Silverhand.
Not
Oh,
Johnny
that's
Silverhand,
Got it.
yeah. Different Johnny. Different Johnny.
different Johnny.
My Keanu Johnny.
I feel like
I love
Jamie and I are
Westworld.
on the same page with this, but like, I just want Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Like, I love Andor. Well, I like Andor. I think Andor's fine, but I'm definitely excited for like the clone stuff coming up in it too. Again, listen,
Coruscant and clones, baby.
I totally respect like the demand for Star Wars storytelling in this way, and I think it's
Yeah.
really good and it's really mature, and I think there should be Star Wars shows like this because it's a good
Absolutely.
balance between everything. I just hope the same level of care that's put into this show is put into other shows going forward too, to
I would
match
agree
the
Yeah.
quality.
because
And
I could say I feel like they did put their eggs in one basket for the most part with this show. I do feel like obviously.
I mean-
That's not even debatable.
Yeah.
I mean, of course they put. A lot
It's all
more
different about
attention
like
on this show.
resource allocation and just more like how like the showrunners wanted to go about making it. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
and maybe even just more time. I don't.
More
I don't
time
know.
and
It's a good
different-
point.
Develop.
'cause-
different people involved. I think
Yeah.
that is a
Yeah.
big thing. Is that you
Yeah.
shouldn't have one person or 2 people deciding all of the shows. Not to dig at the shows that have already come out, but you know this just goes to show when we have like another producer and director staff like actually working through everything and still having like the overhead approvals on the full story.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
I am loving the fact that Andor is about a side character, and it's something that isn't necessarily about like the main plot. Like it's not about like the Jedi. It's not about like saving the galaxy. It's just about this one dude and
Mm-hmm.
his adventures, and that's what we thought the Mandalorian was going to be.
Was
and
gonna
then
be.
it ended up tying
turn
into
the Luke
everything.
Skywalker.
And
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
hope
and I even
that-
thought Bad Batch was gonna be like that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
which,
that
which,
was gonna
which to be
happen
fair,
that way.
it did. It did.
Yeah.
It did.
I just
But-
hope that Andor continues this
Not
way,
like
in
Andor,
which
I
like it
think.
is about this dude and him just his adventures like across the galaxy. Like I
Well-
hope that it continues that way.
What
And,
do you
and for
guys
what
think?
for what people
It's-
describe. Go ahead.
Hold on. What's
ahead.
going on? What is
Okay,
that?
go ahead.
Hey, Corey.
Corey,
you-
go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Like, who?
When do you think Andor? At what point in the show will he bump into a child, and then the child goes with him, and
He
he has
better
to?
not.
When does
He
that
better
happen?
not.
No,
and,
no,
and
no.
that child is Jin Urso.
Yeah. Could
Oh
you
my god.
let's hope not. Let's hope not.
She has her memory erased at the end of the show, and then yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Exactly. Yes.
That's what the Imperials are testing in that facility. Memory
Right.
erasure. They're
Right.
developing the mind probe that you see in episode 4, and that's what it all connects. It's all a big Easter egg. Tony Gilroy was lying the whole time. The whole thing is an Easter egg.
Yeah. What Jamie was saying, I think what a lot of people have described the show as slow, I've like took it as like I love how like
It's
in
deliberate.
depth and like how personal that literally all of the stories about these episodes have been. Because I mean, really, there's a lot of plots going through these episodes. Like there's, I would say three at the same time,
Yeah.
and they all collide at the end, and what I think
and
is
that's
wrapped
like
up in a
a
beautiful
fraction
way,
of what
but-
we know we're going to be seeing, because we're getting a whole
Right.
Luthen, we're getting Mon Mothma, we're getting
Yeah.
the Imperial ISB girl, I forget her
Yeah.
name.
Daedra. Yeah.
Mhm.
Daedra,
Yeah. Oh
like-
my god, I forgot about that.
And her
yeah,
her
and
Seal-
like
and her
apparently,
Seal
like
are gonna
she is
cross
great. Like people have
Yeah.
said it's very interesting. I think she'll be in the next episode.
Because
Yeah,
that's
I'm,
totally what you were saying with the ISB. Cyril is gonna be like, because her point from what we know from press is like she feels like everyone around her is incompetent and she's the only one who cares, and her and Cyril are gonna be like star-crossed lovers, dude. Like, oh my god, we both care about fascism together. Let's go be evil, and then they will be evil. It's gonna be great.
Mhm.
It's gonna be great. I cannot wait for the show, man.
I don't know. I'm so
Yeah.
excited for next week.
And yeah, I'm really intrigued to see like how all those plot lines are gonna be balanced with. I mean, it seems like definitely at this point, Andor's maybe going to Coruscant, maybe.
That's where
right?
Luthen's at. That's
That's
where
what-
Luthen's at.
yeah.
They
That's
might
what
take
I
like a pit stop along
think.
the way just to.
They
That's what I-
very much
that's what I
have just the like we're like taking off into the galaxy to start an adventure. Like who knows where they're going?
I think next week's flashback. I think it's gonna flash back to Luthen's time at the
we're
wherever.
getting Mon Mothma too, though, so we'll
Yeah.
go back and
Yeah.
forth maybe.
And by flashback, I mean probably like an hour before he gets to Ferrix, and it's like when he's still.
Yeah, what's his day job when he's not doing this like undercover?
Would you want to talk about
Smuggling
that?
artifacts.
Because we do know what he does. If we want to talk about that, which
What
makes
is
it really
this?
interesting.
What does he
About
His
Luthen.
job.
His job.
Yeah. Very
I
cool
don't.
job.
It's not a really spoiler,
He can-
but like
yeah.
he talked about it. If you want to know, he's an antiquities dealer on Coruscant. Like that's why you saw.
cool.
That's why you saw on the
Yeah.
trailer like he has
That's
like Plo Koon's mask and stuff. He is like literally a billionaire. When
Yeah.
I was talking about my rich space dad, that wasn't a joke. Like
his
like
ship
homie
is bougie.
whips
Ship
homie
is
whips
bougie.
out like 50,000 credits. Like that's a
Yeah.
lot. Like he just
Yeah.
he just
He
fanned
literally
that
was like,
out.
I'll give you another 1,000 credits if you tell me
If you tell me how
did
you
it.
for like another
Yeah.
sentence of your time. This
It's like-
dude is so wealthy, and so that's how
Yeah.
he's like plugged into the Coruscant high life. But he uses the antique thing as an excuse to be like, oh, I gotta go hunt some antiques, so he gets to go like out into the galaxy and no one questions it. It's really cool, but that's how he
I love
connects to
that.
Mon
Cool
Mothma as
character,
well.
such a
It's
cool
very,
character.
it's such a cool concept for a
He's-
character.
he,
It's like,
he sounds like a D&D character. I don't know. If
I know,
we have any
rich-
D&D players here.
like
but
moral-
very much
morally
it's,
good.
like
So it's-
antiquarian.
yeah,
awesome.
rich billionaire who has like kind of good views. Because the way, like, we haven't even talked about it. The way that when a gun is to Luthen's head, he has that confidence of like, don't you want to give it all to something real? Just that delivery, like, wow, a gun to his head, and the way he knows that Cassian won't shoot him. The way he has control of that whole situation, even though like he knows he's got the bombs, he's got everything. I just love that kind of. This character, he's awesome. He's new, but he's awesome. I'm in. Everything. I can't stop gushing about the show. I loved everything about it. So good. The
Pretty
engines,
great.
the whole engine like piling thing, and all the way that action.
Oh,
scene
in
was
that
shot,
like kind of warehouse.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
we'd seen,
That was
but
so
like
sick.
it
I
felt
think
better
we,
in the full.
we got
yeah.
like an extended
Extended.
sort of version of it too. There were a few things we'd missed out.
I didn't even watch the sneak peek.
Yeah, I can't believe you
how
didn't
much
watch
of that
that.
scene was.
Still,
how much?
that-
How much
Almost all of
was-
it, yeah.
Pretty much all
Almost
of it.
the
The whole
whole action
conversation
scene,
with
too?
them, and the only thing they cut out was the like explosions on the door and the window.
Yeah.
The way
It
he
was-
fanned those
No,
credits.
it was
like that,
just
where
the
he was
warehouse
like,
scene.
Yeah,
Just the
he-
warehouse
that's what
scene.
I'm saying.
The way that he said Cassian Andor.
Cassian
Ander. Yeah, Ander.
He's
I like-
probably
I like
the
that.
best actor they've ever brought into Star Wars. Like Stellan Skarsgård. That's
With
such a
yeah,
huge-
with the
Ooh, that's a crazy take.
resume of film. I mean,
They
Yeah.
I would say Woody Harrelson maybe. I don't know.
Woody
Like-
Harrelson,
like,
him.
I've seen the
recently, like Disney Star
I mean,
Wars.
Ewan.
Stellan
Yo, yeah, I know,
Skarsgård
but,
is an
well, I
actor.
mean-
Yeah, he's
they
not
brought
good.
him
Is
to
it-
Star
Is it
Wars,
brought
so,
in? You're talking like new like Disney Star Wars, or
Yeah.
yeah.
He's. I mean,
I would say Woody personally, but
I think
I'm-
Woody and Stellan are almost like they're very close in stature.
yeah, I would say same like sort of tier of actors.
Yeah, same
That's-
tier.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that before, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes it makes.
He's just so
perfect
good.
sense.
Like for the press
True.
tour, I noticed Stellan Skarsgård wasn't doing any press. I'm like,
Adam Driver is good.
like, he doesn't
Oh,
do
true.
press at all.
You're right.
Yeah, Adam
you're
Driver is
Also,
kind of
an
a
actor.
right.
Right.
That's right. Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac
Sure.
also very
Yeah.
good.
What,
Yeah,
oh my
very
god, I
good.
completely blanked on that
Oh my
one.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Forrest
Oscar's
Whitaker?
still
I mean,
young. Oscar's
Yeah.
still young.
True.
Adam
I mean,
Driver is
the amount of
like,
movies he's done.
I know.
He's done a lot of nothing like huge before Star Wars. Like nothing massive.
Hey,
obviously.
I love him in Sucker Punch and Ex Machina. And
I love him
I
in
mean,
Annihilation.
Yeah.
Annihilation.
Great
I don't
movies.
know. Anyway,
Anyway.
Andor, Cassian Andor.
Andor.
But Jamie,
Cassian
he did say it because he said it again. Like he first says Andor, like he does two Andors now.
I
Andor.
feel like it was different, like in the
Oh,
trailer,
no,
in
no,
the
no,
clip
what-
that
yeah.
we're obsessed with.
The time that he says Cassian Andor, it is different, but like he says it another time, like when he first walks in, that I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, Andor. I was like,
Andor.
yeah. He just
I
says his
cheered a
last
little
name.
bit.
That's my guy. That's my
Yeah.
fat and satisfied man.
That's right.
Fact.
You're right.
Status. Now here's a question: we're probably gonna see Andor going into an
Break
Imperial
into that.
base and
I
stealing
know. It's like,
what
I think
he's
that.
selling.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that whole like break in, with like the dam and the trailers where he's dressed up. I think it's got to be to get that box.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. With him.
That sort of seems like
It wasn't like the cloning facility. It was like the.
because
The dam.
interesting.
It's,
You
like,
say
green.
cloning facility.
Yeah.
Me and Levi were talking about this last night. We're not sure if they're prisoners or clones.
I think they're
Or
prisoners.
the young stormtroopers, or they convicted, or not convicted.
Convicted
hired
felons.
Stormtroopers.
I think that's what they are actually, because I think they're.
Prisoners
Yeah.
seems more likely.
You think they're prisoners? Okay.
Oh,
We'll
by
see.
the way, talking about actors who are going to be in this show potentially, it's rumored, who have also been in Star Wars. Andy Serkis is probably at the top of my list. Andy
Oh,
Serkis
yeah,
is like
that's right.
such an incredible performer. He is.
Andy Serkis is gonna be in this show.
Yeah,
No, what?
yeah.
Yeah, I think Variety
He's-
ran an article like a year
He's gonna
ago
be.
that
He's gonna be one of them prisoners
Snoke?
in prison with him.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, he's not. No, he's
It's
not.
just
No, he's
like,
not
Yeah, I was
playing.
gonna say as
He-
Snoke.
no,
Could you
just
imagine?
as a human man. It's Andy Serkis as a human man.
In Mando,
Snoke reveal?
Sure.
That'd be
Yeah,
pretty great.
he is so underrated just because he does so much mocap stuff. But like, Planet of the Apes
Yeah, but he
trilogy,
literally is like the mocap guy.
Even
Planet
if
of
you
the
don't
Apes
like
trilogy deserves
Last
an Oscar
Jedi,
for
like
that.
his performance as Snoke is still one of the craziest
good.
things.
I'm
It's
more
so
partial
good.
to Gollum or Caesar, but
I don't disagree.
That as well.
Could you imagine it's just Snoke? He just walks out, is in the gold.
Imagine
That's what I'm
it's
saying, like no, like Andor,
Cassian
Andor gets in
Andor.
the prison and like a door's open and it's just
Jon
like
Snoke.
Snoke just sitting on his bed, kind of like all cool like in his prison
Imagine
cell.
if it's Caesar. Imagine if it's an ape.
or
Imagine if
Caesar
it's
comes out.
Yeah,
Caesar comes out.
Caesar-
There's like a big
Caesar-
jailbreak and then Caesar goes like
He's like apes
breaks
together.
out.
They're
Caesar
strong.
is whole
And then
ape
start-
strong together.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
love
That's
that.
right. We'll see. Anything could happen in this
I
show.
can see it, dude. Caesar with two E11s, like the stormtrooper blasters,
Yeah.
blasting.
Yeah, a
That'd be
jetpack. Yeah.
I just can't wait to see Saw again and Forrest Whitaker's performance because he's always
call it
just
Wolf.
I'm excited. I'm sorry. This might be a hot take. I don't need Saw and everything.
Dude, I've
I
been
agree.
saying that
Just-
for
I
so
don't
long.
know.
I'm so sawed out.
I'm
I
so
think
all
everything-
sawed out.
for him to be in this one. Like out of
I
all,
know everything makes sense. He's in every single project that's in the Age of Empire. Like it's like okay, we get it.
I'm so sawed out.
Did you guys
I am
see?
a little
I think
sawed
Bad
out
Batch was sort of the
well.
like the line.
Yeah, Bad
Yeah,
Batch
that's a
too.
good
Oh my god.
that's fair. I think but
Yeah.
I feel like
He
I
wasn't
also
even in
think-
Fallen Order. He wasn't even in a video game in Fallen Order, which I guess
played
is
himself.
connected.
That-
Yeah.
yeah.
He's
I
in
don't know.
everything.
I don't know.
He's in Rebels.
He's
too,
in
obviously.
everything. Yeah,
Rebels, yeah.
Rebels, Clone Wars, Bad
Bunch
Batch,
of books.
Fallen Order, Andor, Rogue One.
Speaking of which, though,
That's a lot of stuff.
did you guys see that at the
Come on.
premiere, Erin Kellyman is there, and obviously she's doing the Disney stuff
Willow.
for Willow.
Yeah,
but I didn't see anyone else from the Willow cast there.
There was
I
a
just
full cast photo of everybody.
okay, just
from
kidding.
there.
I
Oh,
just
yeah.
saw.
Okay, wow.
All right, I take it back.
We're like
When
giving
it comes to
misinformation last
Enfys
night.
Nest business, I was
I
on
was-
top of that.
Yeah,
but
I was like,
no, it
Enfys,
was
my
for Willow.
Enfys brain,
Oh my God, that would
brain
be
was turned on.
really
I was like,
cool.
she would be so good in the
Well,
show.
Levi lied to me last night.
I did.
He's like none of the Willow cast was.
I
there,
thought it
so
was just her. I saw it was like it looked like I saw a photo of her literally alone on the whole carpet, and I was like, "What's she doing?
What is
She's
she
in the
doing
show."
there? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Fair.
I'm sorry,
There's
Gibbs.
a
I got
group of
hyped.
them.
She
hyped
could.
myself
I mean,
up.
Enfys like could still like be a thing. Maybe season 2. I
Yeah.
hope
You know
so.
what else is a thing in the show? is
stuff.
clones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
man,
true.
you keep bringing it back.
Let's bring it back
Keep
to.
bring it back
we're
to
gonna get
clones.
More
clones.
live
Bring it
action
back to
clones.
Live action clones.
Love
I'm
it.
just so excited because like we haven't.
We haven't seen this, Corey. This is big.
This is big. Like
We
only
saw it in
This is big
Kenobi.
stuff.
Kenobi was live
But
action
this is like
clones.
new.
Yeah, but this is like we're gonna get.
Wait,
we're gonna get-
wait! I thought you were joking. We said
We're gonna
a
get
lot of live
screen
action.
time. We're gonna get like legit screen
Bro,
time.
go back
Possibly.
and watch the like cold open of Kenobi episode 1.
But
It's
it's
a
like
great clone
But
stuff.
okay,
man.
like
We've
yes,
seen
It's not Order 66. That's the vibe.
Fair.
yeah.
That's,
It
that's
is
Exactly.
a different and it's a different show and like arguably a better looking show. And we're getting live action clones. It's different. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh,
Just
Do you
is.
think Tem is going to be involved at all?
Probably is-
Oh,
Besides
that would-
voice, besides or is it
That would
D?
be-
You think like voicing?
If they do
Oh,
D live
that
action, that'd be
maybe.
wild.
Yeah, I
If
think
D, yeah,
Tem-
I don't know if they would. I don't think they would do that.
I don't know. I mean, I can
and
see
honestly, I
Tem
do
could be
think,
busy on Boba.
I think the clones will be fast. I don't think it's going to be some crazy plot line. I do think we're going to hear like tomorrow.
Corey's like, it's gonna be a whole clone plotline.
I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
gonna, I think
Yeah.
they will be significant
I
in
don't know.
one episode at least.
I don't think they'll be much bigger than what we see in Kenobi, which is why I'm.
We'll see
I was
Commander
surprised.
Cody and Captain Rex and
Not really,
and
but they
Commander
were
Wolf.
barely in Kenobi. Like if you really put it like maybe 3 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be in this show that much more.
I don't know. Man. I don't know.
I think Wrecker was inside
I hope so.
Ned
I'm-
B
I'm-
the whole
I'm keeping
time.
my-
Yeah, you're right.
That's
That's what I think.
Wrecker
I
is
think
Ned B.
Wrecker,
Wrecker is
dude.
Ned B. Remember that theory? That was cool.
Oh my
Worst
God.
take of all time.
That had to be a joke.
No, it wasn't. I was watching a lot.
Okay.
All right.
We've been going for an hour and 10 minutes here. I want to hear some final thoughts from our panel. Mike, tell me what you're thinking. Andor, you've been listening. You've been taking in all of the takes, all the
Yeah, we
hot
got
takes.
a lot of takes up here.
What-
I
Tell-
did. I kind
what-
of just I circle back around to where I was before, and that like
Yeah.
overall, what I like since I'm like editing reactions right now. Actually, I only got
Oh,
the first one
there you
up.
go.
You know, I
See,
know
you
noticed
got the
that.
grindmaster.
He's a grindmaster.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just noticing in general that like the overall feel I got from the first 3 episodes really was centered around the ambiance that I was talking about and feeling immersed in almost like a Star Wars liquid, if you will. Like it felt like it was all around me, and it was driven mostly by the audio for me. I happen to be that's how I understand the world the best is through sound. It's just I might not be the same for everybody, but that really is what hit me the most. And I'm looking forward to what they're gonna do with all of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before Corey shares his thoughts, I want to call him out a little bit because he said before the show that he would rain on everyone's parade and then has proceeded to only say positive things.
Yeah,
I
you've been like
very
it's fine,
confused.
but
I feel like that's
you
Corey's
seem like you've
MO.
liked it.
I've
I
been
called him-
waiting for the end.
Can you say?
Oh,
can
God.
you say one
the
bad
pain
thing?
master, the master of
Right,
pain.
the pain master. That's right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Actually, wait, maybe Corey can comment on this because part of the ambiance for me was I felt like Disney and Lucasfilm has gotten a lot. They're doing a really good job now of incorporating extras. So I want to I know Corey can comment on that.
Yeah, but you can, yeah.
A lot of like the extras walking around the market and just like they felt immersed. They felt like like it wasn't just because part of the end of Book of Boba Fett felt a little bit to me.
Yeah.
With some of the people not feeling like they belonged there, like it just, and here it just felt so like this could literally just be at Galaxy's Edge, but like the real one, not with tourists walking around. Yeah,
that's a great point because I noticed that even like at the premiere too, just seeing it on the big screen and being able to take in like the extras a little bit more. Yeah, it's really good. The direction work on the extras is phenomenal. Usually you've got
The Catman.
Yeah.
There you go.
Catman.
Yeah. Even the aliens are directed a lot better than what I've seen in the past, and just the way that it's like everyone has something to do in the scene.
Yeah,
Did
Okay,
they give
Corey.
you like a basic backstory? Like, okay, you're
already
Ted
highlighted it.
from
Everything you
Rogue
say,
One.
Corey, Aubrey
Yeah.
agrees with. So take this
Yeah.
opportunity to say something because Aubrey agrees with it. Everything her takes are yours.
Do you have any takes that
You have any takes that you want
know that
Aubrey
she-
to?
doesn't agree with?
Well,
That you could say or anything?
Yeah, give me the
Well, here-
takes.
okay.
What was the rain? I'm waiting for the rain on the parade.
I know.
Okay. I don't want to come off critical because I don't want to be that Star Wars fan. You know what I'm saying? But, I
That's
just think
what I'm
it's fine. Like in my opinion, I think it's fine. I think it's a fine show. I think it's building towards something really epic, and I can't wait till we get there. But I just thought it was
This is
fine.
true.
I don't think it's the second.
That's okay.
Oh, Levi.
That's terrible.
That's fair. I did that to you.
He
Last
did that to
time.
me.
You did that-
I
you
got
did
that to me.
to me. You did that to me and Levi.
Yes. Yeah, I just think
I
it's
joke.
fine.
I
I don't
kid.
think it's the second
We joke.
coming. Or
We joke here.
anything. But you know, I actually I agree with like what Mike was saying. Like I'm more immersed in like the sound design and what's going on in
Yeah,
the
the
background.
technical stuff is stellar. Yeah.
Yeah, and character and stuff. But my God, was I bored? I'm so sorry to say.
Really?
Yeah. I was
Man, you've contained this the whole time. Wow,
So
that's-
you're kind of in the slow boat then.
It's just
felt
you
it was
guys are
slow.
so happy
Slow
about
boat.
it. I
Slow
really,
boat.
like,
That's what I'm calling it.
yeah, I
You're aboard the slow boat.
because I feel like
So
I
you
feel
keep
like
saying it. Okay.
You
I
could
know.
have condensed these episodes into honestly like 2. It didn't have to be 3.
Mhm,
So
yeah.
that's just kind of where I'm at with it, and I'm excited to see where it goes though. That's the thing. I don't judge a show until it's done because I don't think
Fair.
you can. You have to
Fair.
go through the weeks, and there are plenty of shows. I mean, one of my favorite shows in the world is Better Call Saul, and it has slow moments.
I was just
So-
gonna
That's
say,
true.
how did you make it through these 3 episodes and think it was slow but love Better Call
Yeah,
Saul?
that's
'Cause
crazy.
Saul.
Season 1
Better
and
Call
Yeah.
Saul is
2
so
are
slow, but it's like
I
every
thought-
scene is so important.
Yeah.
Let the Pain Master have his opinion.
I'll let him run with it. But
I think it's just I like the characters more Better Call Saul off the bat, so there's just kind of a,
okay.
and also
Okay.
you're kind of already familiar with them from Breaking Bad, so like it's
Right.
like you're spending time with like
Maybe.
Mike again. And all these
I thought Kim
Some-
stole the show. in Better
Yeah, I
Call
mean-
Saul.
Oh yeah. Well, right now, Aubrey hasn't. So Aubrey and she hadn't seen Breaking Bad yet. So her and I watched all the Breaking Bad. She loved it, and now we're on Better Call Saul. We're on the final 5 episodes of the series.
Good stuff.
Good stuff awaits.
Oh yeah, but she just got to some brutal parts, so it's been fun seeing
Yeah,
her
yeah.
reactions to it.
I think I know where you are.
I got to watch Johnny's reaction throughout
Yeah.
watching it. It was
I
fun.
I binged it all, and then I finished it
Do you have
right
do you have
before
Saul?
the finale came
Gibbs?
out.
You got Saul? Do you have Saul right there? Do you have Bob?
Oh yeah, show the Saul off.
We have there he is.
Oh, I
There
love
he is, that guy.
I have
Let
one
me
of
show
those
you
with Mike with the
man.
balloons.
One's like stuffed
course,
in the
Corey's
corner
got
at a
some.
Newberry Comics.
Here's our little guy that we've got.
Oh, that's sick.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Here's Huel.
Huel.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not happen. Anyways, Andor.
Anyways, yeah, sorry.
Uh,
What are we talking about?
It was just so Aubrey and
This
I
is the Saul
had
stream.
just watched Better Call Saul right before we started Andor, and I told her, I said, okay, bear in mind, Better Call Saul, super good. And she's still like, she liked Andor, but just the writing is so, I don't know why I'm comparing them, I shouldn't, but
They've been compared though. You're not the first to do it.
No, I did.
yeah.
They're both
It-
recent. Yeah.
No, I know, but
think-
Both shows.
they've been compared.
You're right.
After
I
They're
do
both
think
shows.
Andor is going to end up being
Bunch
one
of
of the
moving pictures.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I think once we get sort of towards the Coruscant stuff, and I think, but again, that's what I love about Star Wars, right? Is you have all these different shows that is for everyone. Like, you know, I'm more of like, I love the Force, I love the Jedi and Sith stuff, I love the clone stuff. So, you know, there's Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, you know, Bad Batch. There's just this variety. And then there are people who just particularly love the Empire and all that stuff, and that's what this show's about. So,
For you, is it like, is this just not like a section of Star Wars that like really interested
just-
you? I guess.
well,
Okay.
and off the bat, I knew that when like
I think he likes clones, Johnny.
I like clones.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I think he's.
Mm,
But I still like it. I don't not like
Yeah.
it. I just think these could have been condensed. But I
Okay.
think the writing, directing, acting is just on a different level, and I want to see that continue with with wherever the show goes. I think it'll be great. I just think the first 3 episodes were a little slow for me.
fair enough.
Jamie.
What are we thinking?
So
Okay.
to bounce off of that, actually, this is also, I guess, my final piece. I forget how much I love stories about people who are absolute no ones, and like I could watch a story in Star Wars that is about like literally someone who's like listening to like communications, and like I would watch
like in the
shit
comm
out
tower,
of
yeah.
that. Yeah, like that is it. Like there's like we have like
I saw a little bit of
guy-
that.
I would watch the crap out of that show, and so like I am at this point where like I wasn't expecting it to be so like mundane, and I'm loving every second of it, and so I can't wait to see more of that. And obviously it's gonna like ramp up, and we're gonna get like more like intense, and like I always go back to like my favorite era is the dark times, and that's what this is. And so I'm just looking forward to like seeing more of the broader scope of things. I'm glad we're getting to see more worlds.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Johnny,
me? Yeah.
you.
I loved it. I thought I was just utterly impressed with every side of the show's production, from the costumes and props all the way to the writing and the characters, and I loved all the plot lines, and like I actually like felt for like all of these characters when they had like tough moments. Like you were all, like like I genuinely reacted to it. Like
the shot of Bix climbing up the ladder as like the camera.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and I mean the shots in this show are like the best we've seen in a very long time. So it's fresh because it looks so damn good, and yeah, I'm hoping it keeps the pace that it's set. But loved it.
Ben Gibbs.
All right, so when I hear boring, slow, I just want to ask this. I don't know how you can go and watch that show and try to find me one scene that isn't, one, visually beautiful, two, great world building, or three, like establishing like characters in such an amazing way.
To defend people who think that, I think that a lot of it is subjective. You know,
Yeah.
people are going to take in things differently.
I don't. I just don't see that. Every scene to me, like, was acted like so great. Like the performances are fantastic. It always looks great. There's always world building. There's always character development. So I just don't see slow and boring. I don't see it.
Okay,
that's good.
I respect the opinions, but that's my response to it. So.
Okay.
Well, it's good.
Corey, you're much more like well spoken about this. I see like just I've seen so much hate.
I've seen it too, and I strongly disagree with what a lot of people have said about like. Here's the thing, like, and that's what I was saying earlier is like sometimes, and especially when shows start out, there needs to be a lot of establishment, and so for me, just when I think of like slow or I feel like something's slow, it doesn't make it bad. I think a lot of people are saying because there are moments that drag a little bit more, it makes it bad, but it's not, because it establishes, hey, these are these characters' lives. This is what they do from a day-to-day basis. And I think that's going to help influence the rest of the season. And because you want to be attached to characters, right? Like you want to, if something happens to them, you want to feel the impact of that. Even like when Tim dies, it's like, whoa, we just had like 2 episodes of kind of getting to know him and his dynamic with Bix and all that. So it's impactful. So if a character like Bix dies at like, let's say the end of the season, you're going to really feel that because you got to see all this character growth with her. And that's why I think I'm also very excited for the rest of the season, because we have the establishment already. It's there. Now it's like full steam ahead of what comes next. But yeah, the general take of like, it's bad because it takes its time is just not. It's a strange take for sure.
It's also cool, you know, you bring up the characters and like feeling for them. Usually when we get Star Wars content and it takes place before something, because that's how Star Wars has always been. It's out of order. Yeah. It's always so important that like, oh, this person will survive, or oh, they can't be around during the original trilogy. But with almost every single character here, we don't know what's going to happen, because if Bix is alive during the original trilogy, it wouldn't matter. Like she could be in the Rebel Alliance. Like she could not. She could just be a mechanic. Like the fact that it's on that scale, that the stakes are so personal, where I don't know what's going to happen, because it's like the same thing with Mando. Like you're like, oh, will Cal Kestis show up here? Oh, that would be weird though, because he'll survive the original trilogy and they're doing the game and stuff like that. It doesn't factor in here, because it's all about the character. It's all about the story, and that is what is paramount. And it goes back to that thing I talked about earlier. To me, what got me was the Fest thing. I know it sounds silly, but the fact that I felt like I was living in this world, that the characters in the world knew the world around them and respected and existed in it, it just felt like the same. Like it felt like a novel come to life. It felt like a comic book come to life in the way that it felt consistent with everything. Even though it was different, it felt consistent to the lore. Yeah. And to that, I give it 2 thumbs up. I'm a big fan of Andor.
Like, the show has stakes. And that's something that I think has been missing a lot in Star Wars. I mean, Tim getting shot like that off the bat, it's like, okay, so anyone at any point, this could happen.
Yeah. And I'd say real drama, too. Like, I haven't felt this kind of dramatic weight in...
Oh, it's going to win Emmys. I can, like, right off
the bat. I hope. That would be amazing. So,
Well,
but
Jenny,
yeah, is this
yeah,
is this
I
it?
think this, I think this is it. I think we had a pretty good discussion about Andor.
Wonderful stream.
I think so
Um,
too.
thank you guys for coming on. We really
Enjoyed
appreciate
it.
it.
Being
Yeah,
here,
thank
man.
you all you guys. We
Great.
love you guys.
I-
Anytime. Come back.
And I
on.
cannot
Love to have
wait
you.
to talk more about the show and just see the show in general. Like I said, this
Yeah.
before, the fact we have 9
I
more
want,
episodes.
I want every episode out right now.
Yeah,
And a
right?
second season already.
And a
too,
second
right?
season.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a
production.
second season. Why not?
Wow.
I was watching it and I was sad. I'm like, we gotta wait 2 years for the next season.
Yeah.
Well, the
That's what
fact
I
that it's
said.
happening, awesome.
It's so cool that like Tony Gilroy seems to be the kind of director who does not care about a mystery box, right? Like he's
Nope.
totally open. He's like,
Yeah.
we're doing a season 2. It starts here. We're doing
And it's
this.
ending here.
gonna-
Yeah, he's told us where it ends.
Exactly. It's like it's gonna be 4 story arcs of 1 year each.
Year
Like
each.
he is full. He's giving us an idea of what to expect, which is more than I think any other project has, and I really respect him for that. It's really cool.
No.
Cool.
Very
Even
cool.
the Pain Master thinks it's cool. Well,
Also,
thank-
marketing on this show.
yeah, excellent marketing as well.
No, no,
That's right.
As Matt and AJ would say, on the other stuff, it's
Yeah.
if you get that joke, I appreciate it because the
Thank you.
Holonet Marauders are awesome, and that was a very funny bit. But thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
You know, I can only outro so many times. I just have to end it. So we will see
So
you guys.
follow the
Follow
Marauders.
everyone. I'm sorry.
Follow
Yeah,
Convor Call.
Convor
Follow
Call.
Jedi Dive,
I'm sorry.
everywhere.
I thought we had to leave Johnny, so I'm like,
Okay.
I'm trying
No, we're
to
good.
get
We're
out of
good.
here.
All right. Thank you,
Um,
everybody. We will see you real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace, guys.